Last week, pole sitter Ishan lost the race lead to Karminder post a bad race start, which Karminder maintained all the way till the checkered flag. After a series of exchange of positions, Aditya Pawar emerged successful in grabbing the third position on the podium, followed by Keith D'Souza in fourth and Niranjan Todkari in fifth position.
Hello and welcome to Pits to Podiums, an exclusive coverage of the finest racing action from Volkswagen Vento Cup season 2016. We are still at the Madras Motor Racetrack chasing all the action from the 7th race of the season. Despite controlled environment, a racetrack often witnesses situations where all the proceeding on the track must be put a halt to ensure the safety of all competitors. That's one of the times a safety car situation arises. Why is a safety car important for a motorsport event? What does it signify? We get to know all this and more in a discussion with the clerk of the course or the COC. Let's get talking to him. Here we are in a conversation with Mr. Dastu, who's the COC here. Let's just cut it short to the basics. Why do we need a safety car during a motorsport event?
Yeah, the safety car is usually driven by a racing driver or experienced driver, and it's brought out in a situation where there's been a crash involving maybe 2 or 3 cars or maybe even a single car that's stuck on the middle of the track. We need to send out marshals, a crane, whatever, to clear that whole mess that's on the track. So in that moment, we send out the safety car, which brings up all the cars together. They form in, and they go around in formation.
Right.
Okay. The moment the track is clean and cleared, then we bring back the safety car and racing commences again.
Does the driver have to follow any special instructions when the safety car is out on the track?
Yes. The instructions are given by the COC, that's me, on bring the pace down a bit or take the pace up a bit. Yes, safety car can switch off its lights and come into the pit lane at any particular lap, so on and so forth. That's how it works.
And talking about the lights, whenever the car is out on the track, the lights are always on. When the car is pulling into the pit, the lights are switched off, or is it after the car?
It is always switched off at a designated place on the track on which the drivers are informed. So the moment the lights are switched off, the safety car pulls away, comes into pit lane, and then the leader takes the race pace.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. It definitely was a lot of interesting bits of information for all of us enthusiasts and all the racers on the track. Lies in the detail, they say. And racing, which is already such a dangerous sport, taking care of all of these details is very important, including the riders or drivers' racing gear. So we're joined here by Shirish, Head of Department Volkswagen Motorsport, and our friend Venkat to talk more about a driver's overalls, the kit per se.
Driver safety gear is there to give them protection in case of fire.
Right.
Okay, that's the biggest sort of worry that we have as a company that builds the race cars. So all of the equipment is made by with a special material called Nomex, which is fire resistant. So we have here the driving suit, which is normally, as the way we run it, it's run with 3 layers of Nomex that is stitched, quilted together to form air pockets, so it insulates the driver in case of a fire. Underneath the suit, we have also innerwear, again made with Nomex, that gives them additional protection in case of a fire. So that's the suit and the innerwear. And if we go down to his feet, you see he's got racing shoes, which are made out of leather, which has been treated again to be fire resistant. And all of the lining is again made out of Nomex, as are his socks. So all of this gives him a little bit of protection, approximately say 30 seconds of protection in case he's stuck in a fire. Okay? The more important part of it, which is protecting his head and what's inside, right? So we've got an OMP helmet, which the lining of which again is Nomex. But underneath the helmet, all the drivers wear a balaclava, which is a head sock for all of us normal people. This is again quilted with 2 or 3 layers of Nomex. So this is to give him protection on the face and the neck, because the suit stops at the neck. Then he puts the helmet on. So if you mind putting your balaclava on, please. Yeah, we'll take your hat off. So now, if we put his helmet on, if you notice, we've got this little carbon fiber device attached to his helmet. That's called a Hans device. The helmet should always be snug on your face, because if it isn't snug, what happens is when you're going around a corner, for example, all the G-forces, the helmet will move while your face is pointing in one direction, which becomes very unsafe. So you've got the helmet over here, and if you turn around please, the helmet is connected to this Hans device by these clips, one on this side, one on the other side. So this device sits under your seat belt. So when you're bolted into the car, you have seat belts go over the top over here. And when they do that, essentially this becomes a part of the seat assembly. So in case of an impact, if he leans forward over here, you see that the belts stress out, or they straighten out. This prevents his neck from going any further than this, which actually prevents whiplash. So this is one way of ensuring the driver's safety. So all of this together, these guys are the safest drivers in any touring car series in India.
Yes, safety first and definitely first. But be right back as we follow the 7th race of the season on the other side. Keep watching Pits to Podium. excited for the 7th race of the season 2016 of Volkswagen Vento Cup. The cars have all lined up here, reverse grid series. Last year's junior champion Pradeep starts from pole, followed by Niranjan. Dhruv, the guest driver from AutoX magazine, starts after Niranjan, and Jeet Jabak, the promising young driver, right at 4th. What do you have to say about this, with Niranjan's strategy of probably slowing down in the last race so that he could have a better start in this race?
I think that's a very smart and intelligent thing to do. So now he's got, a clear track ahead of him. Starting in second actually is a little bit of an advantage here because it gives you the inside line into C1. If he's on the inside into C1, then he can literally push the guy on the outside out and he can actually go into the lead. So that's a very good thing. But the dark horse over here has got to be Dhruv, who's unpredictable, he's very talented, and he's not really a guest driver. He should be a professional driver with his skills, but he's a dark horse over there, so he's got a very good chance of making a very good finish over here, maybe even win.
Right, so Jeet has been very promising all this while. If not anywhere down the order, he's at least finished 5th. Very impressive for a person who's racing for the first time.
Right.
Do you think he can grab his first podium in this race?
It certainly has the right starting position. So it just takes a small mistake from one of these 3 guys ahead of him, then he'll be right there. So I think that's what he's hoping for. He's going to push these guys, so hoping that they make a mistake.
And we definitely want to be watching out for Karminder, who loves reverse grid, who loves to exchange places.
He is really the reverse grid champion over here. If we had a title, he'd be the clear winner. So, I mean, he's always dangerous. He's got very good racecraft, so let's see how it goes.
The cars are all revving up, preparing for the race start. We better go back and take our positions. A very good luck to all the drivers.
Starting with reverse order, it was Volkswagen Vento Cup 2015 Junior Champion Pradeep Rao on pole position of the second race, who took off with a perfect start. Following him closely were Niranjan, guest driver Dhruv Behel, Jeet and Keith. Starting 6th on the grid, Aditya was involved in an incident in the second corner on the first lap and went off the track. Immediately after that, at the third corner, Keith D'Souza was involved in another incident that pushed him all the way back. While all this was happening, it was Dhruv Behel climbing up a position into second place and Ishan Dodiwala lining up behind him after starting 7th on the grid. The safety car was brought out on the first lap due to the incidents at C2 and C3, and it stayed out till the end of lap 3. The race continued at full pace at the end of third lap. Pradeep, who was still leading the race, was followed closely by Dhruv, Ishan and Niranjan in second, third and fourth place respectively. On lap 8, guest driver Ronak Ajinkya went off in the last sector of the track and hit the tyre wall on the bridge, bringing the red flags out. Once the track was cleared, the race restarted for 3 laps. Pradeep, who had maintained his lead till then, made a mistake in the second corner, and that is when Ishan made his race-winning maneuver. Dhruv finished the race in second position and Niranjan completed the podium, battling for crucial points to maintain his lead in the championship standings. Karminder fought back all the way from 9th to come up to 4th and missed the podium by a whisker.
It was a superb race. Starting in 7th place at the reverse grid is always tough because you have to make a lot of moves to get all the way up there, and there are really good drivers who you're fighting against as opposed to say starting from pole and running away. So it was a really tough race, really hot. We had a couple of stoppages with the safety car and the red flag, and I tried to keep my cool throughout, make all the moves on the first couple of laps. I stayed in third for a major part of the race. I had a good fight with Dhruv, and he drove brilliantly today. At the restart, I knew this was my chance to try and get an outright win, and I had 3 laps to do it. The attempts were really going very high, and I was trying to keep my cool. Managed to do it on the second corner itself rather, and try and maintain it all the way there till the end.
So the action was really hot this Sunday morning. It's really hot weather and it was really hot racing. There was a start, a safety car restart, another start, and it was absolutely intense. Managed to finish second, was in the lead for a couple of occasions, but these guys are just way too quick. Awesome race.
In the race too, I didn't have a pretty good start, so I couldn't pull away starting from the second position. And then the incident at second corner happened, which put me back to fourth. And I was holding to that position, but later on we had a safety car period and also the red flag, which restarted the race. So since I was in fourth, I restarted the race from fourth position. And in the last 3 laps, I overtook and finished third.
As we have a lot of nail-biting action lined up on the other side for you. Keep watching Pits to Podiums. Welcome back. Time now to follow all the action from the penultimate race in the other categories of the MMSC FMSCI Indian National Racing Championship.
Charin Chandran of Red Rooster Performance took a surprise win in first race of the Indian Junior Touring Cars class, while Anant Pitawala of Team N1 pushed Keith D'Souza to third place. With 174 points, D'Souza had a 1-point lead over Pitawala as the championship entered into its last race. With 109 points, Viresh Prasad from Bengaluru took a 1-point lead over Raghul Rangaswamy after winning the first race in the Super Stock category. Raghul finished third behind Deepak Ravikumar, while Alisha Abdullah came in fourth, which took her tally to 96. The other title contender, Dean Mascarenas, failed to finish the race, remained on 102 points after failing to finish the race. Raghul Rangaswamy extended his lead in the F1300 Rookie Championship by winning the first of the 2 races, despite starting fourth on the grid. With his 6th win in 9 starts, Raghul took his tally to 180 points, 19 clear of his nearest rival and Wallace Sports teammate CS Tejas Ram, who started from pole position but finished third behind Alex Bora.
I just won the Formula LGB 1300 National Championship. The race was quite interesting because I fell back in the race start, but I think I managed to get the race lead in the 3rd, 4th lap.
Had a good start. I was holding off my 2nd place, and then the guy in front of me spun, so I had to brake, and then Rahul passed me, and then from there on it's just keeping my cool and driving. So it was a good race overall. I finished 2nd in the championship and looking forward to more races like this. Thank you.
I tried my level best, but had a lead for a while, but had some issues with the car, so couldn't hold much. Went to 4th, but again managed to, at last lap, I managed to come to 3rd and finish on the podium. That's all I can do now, I could do today.
time to wave the checkered flag and pull our cars back into the pits in this episode of Pits to Podiums. Join us in the next episode as we follow the 8th race of the season of Volkswagen Vento Cup 2016. Download the We Love Motorsport app on your Android or iPhones. The details of the app are given on your TV screens and have the finest racing action on your fingertips. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for all live feeds and updates, and on Instagram for some very interesting pictures. Till then, thank you for watching, and remember, the only place where you get a reward for taking that extra risk is the racetrack. The streets are not as forgiving.
Next week, follow the 8th race of the Volkswagen Vento Cup season 2016 with championship favourite Ishan Dodiwala starting from pole. A race win could strengthen his standings in the overall tally. But Karminder, who starts 3rd on the grid, would surely fight tooth and nail for those precious championship points. Join us next week to see who wins the 3rd race of the penultimate round of the season.